Muslim women are oppressed. That's not true. That's a lie. I married a Muslim woman. I'm oppressed. It's hard to be a Muslim community because you can be anything else in this community. Allah made me a doctor. Alhamdulillah. Allah made me a lawyer. MashaAllah. Allah made me funny. Astaghfirullah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. You're just seeing clips from my comedy special, Love Supreme and Anatomy of Gratitude. I'm Preacher Moss, and I'm asking you to help send me to prison. My hope and call to action is that we distribute the film to prisons around the country with smiles on the faces of the incarcerated and the invisible, Muslim and non-Muslim. Along with that, your donation will fund grants to train returning citizens for IT jobs. It's important to support them and their families. I'm Preacher Moss. Help send me to prison. Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The ShOUT Show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, family. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS, the ShOUT Show. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great day. It's Wednesday, hump day. You know how it is. You can just get over the hump. Thursday and Friday seem just a little bit easier. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody who tuned in yesterday. We have really some good reaction after the show in regards talking about, what is the art of the second chance. And I want to carry over on that theme a little bit. Not so much the exact theme that we talked about yesterday, but my topic today is COVID-19 the end of old school? Now, I have to frame old school. Old school has a lot to do with etiquette. Old school has a lot to do with integrity, has a lot to do with character. It has a lot to do with presenting who you are. No facades, no filters, no Instagram, no Twitter, no Facebook. The art of conversation, presenting people and having meaningful conversations face to face. No texting, if you will. Presenting an idea that you believe and putting it out in the marketplace of ideas and see if it floats, see if it gets traction. That's so much about what old school is. Respect. COVID-19 has shown me something that I thought I'd never see. It was the diminishing of the value of respect. The value of respect of human life, human dignity, human thought, human life, human expectation, the value of believing in a system that was about fairness and equality. So I asked the question, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to take a quick moment. You can ruminate about these ideas if you want. Is COVID-19 the end of old school? And I thought about this. I said, what would have happened, if you will, if the vaccine was put out for COVID-19? But the vaccine was only for people who looked a certain way. People had a certain amount of money. People had a certain amount of education, or people who lived in a certain region. And those were the parameters of how people were treated. That's the way it feels now, a little bit, just a little bit, but I definitely came out of this situation, and we're still in COVID-19, but there's something different. There's something awry. I saw a young man talk to his nana, and I saw him say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Now I'm 53 years old, and I'm here to tell you, my aunts, all of them that are still living, I don't have any more uncles, but it was always, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I come from the era that when you talk to your aunts, you don't use their first name. Their first name, if her name was Ruth, it was Aunt Ruth, or Aunt Dottie, or Aunt Maxine, or Aunt Shirley, or Aunt Florence, on and on and on and on and on. Or it was Uncle June, Uncle Earl. It was those, Uncle T. It was those things. And I sat here wondering and say, what happened to those days? I actually stood by and watched a boy refer to his dad by his first name. Really, Dave? I was like, oh my God. I was like, dude, I said, is that your dad? He said, yeah. Come on, Dave. What are we going to do, Dave? And I'm shocked. But then again, I'm not so shocked, because it's been a softening, if you will, of the ground underneath. We all grew up. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy. I'm not going to say it. I'm not a tough guy. My dad wasn't soft. He was a hard dude. But he came from a situation where he dealt with hard circumstances. It didn't make him insensitive. But then again, my dad would tell you in a minute, you my son, make sure you ain't going to be no punk. Those were the way it was. If JT is in the spot, Althoff in the spot, what's your father say? Whatever it is going to happen, you can go to school, but you ain't going to be no punk. Let me expand really quick before I get into the topic a little bit more. Let me shout out anybody that's coming on the show for the first time. Thank you for coming on the Shout Out Show. We appreciate you. Do us all a favor. Click the subscribe button, the link button, and the notify button so you know when another episode is coming on. Thank you. And I want you to feel welcome coming on the show. This is an open dialogue platform. I do talk a lot, but I take a lot of suggestions. Those suggestions come in the comment section. The comment section is not a regular eclectic group of people. These are super people. These are the Shout Out Show family and soldiers that come here every day, pretty much. I'm talking about an attendance record that's better than most schools. They come on, they express themselves, and we have, I like to say, a community on this platform. So you're part of that community. Now, for all my old school, I'm going to start calling my old school Shout Out Show family. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I love you. And I really just hope that everybody is in good health, in good spirits, and having expectations for things to get better. So let me run down the all-star ranking. We got Ree. Ree is back. And Ree is our craft services specialist. She's back. Ree, your food is coming tomorrow. Sister Sultana, brothers and sisters, will be hosting the Saturday Spotlight. So I want you to don't come here to the show. Come to the show early, because I am excited with her guests, the choice of the guests, the choice of the topic. So I want to make sure that we're all here. So you won't see me. I'm going to be in the comment section. Or I might be working the back, but that is it. This is her show. I've been telling you and hawking her and building her up about an incredible show. She's done her homework, put a show together. She's producing her own half hour. Alhamdulillah for that. Sister Aika, all the way from Indonesia. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good to have you back. Brother Althoff from Toronto. Althoff, you know what I'm talking about. You know what our daddy said to us about being men? He only have to tell you one time, because you ain't want to have to hear it again. So Althoff, you know what I'm talking about. Now, this is my brother right here. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit something. This is a rare institution where I met his dad before I met him in Milwaukee at Marquette University, YMCA, down on Wisconsin Avenue. Mr. Thomas, hear what I'm saying? Mr. Thomas, hear what I'm saying? Mr. Thomas and I were friends for quite a long time. JT would tell you, he never heard me refer to his father by his first name. Even though we were adults and his father wouldn't even thought about it. He wouldn't mind it. I never did it. JT, tell the truth. Always refer to him as Mr. Thomas. JT's mom, Miss Maisie. It's the way it is. Miss Maisie, Aunt Mamie. I'm locked in, brothers. I'm locked in. And here's the real talk. JT, see, I'm not alone, brothers and sisters. I'm not alone. See, my dad would say, you ain't gonna be no punk. So my dad. My dad would say it. JT's dad would say it. And it, you can figure out however you want to make it work and sound lovely. But it was and I'm gonna say something too. Our fathers talk to us that way. Our mothers talk to us probably even rougher about being young men because they were coming from places where they weren't allowed to be young men and young women of equality, of note. And so you had to have this gruff exterior to deal with life. I'm amazed by how people judge our parents, in this soft, moist filter, if you will, not understanding what they had to go through. My parents, JT's parents, Reed's parents, they all had to go through a time where there was no recourse to deal with racism. You couldn't vote, brothers and sisters. It was legal for somebody to run up in your house and take you out. You always hear about Aunt Emmett Till. You know what you never heard? Was what they did was illegal because the laws were slanted that way. And we're not talking about racism. We're talking about a group of people, a group of supernatural folks who managed to survive all of that to raise their children. And if you think about it really, really deeply, what are you going to tell your children about the world, understanding that this is the world you came from? Forget psychologists, forget therapists. We're just talking about our parents in front of us giving an honest evaluation of the world and how we survive, but more importantly, how they survive. There you go. And I never heard JC call any of his family by their first name. Even I met people who, hey, this is my aunt. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You know why? Because my mother might be in the back. Or I literally, I duck. I make sure they, And it's not that. It was the scope of, you had to do that. My mother calls me. I say, yes, ma'am. She asks me a question. No, ma'am. My father, that's the way my dad talked. Black men, when they get older, they forget how to talk a little bit. It takes them a little bit to get started. Hey, boy, that's a whole sentence for my dad. That's a whole sentence for my dad. And even though he go, hey, boy, you understand me? Yes, sir. I knew to put a sir on the end of it. Still do. And I'm not afraid of my dad. What I'm afraid of is that some way, somehow, that everything that it's taught me, that my mother's taught me, that my aunts have taught me, somehow it's thrown away. It's moved over to the side for this new existence that we're supposed to accept. And it's a new existence that is an inferior existence. Forget technology, forget social media, forget internet. In the end, brothers and sisters, all you have is your word and your character. Your word and your character. Not personalities created behind social media. I want to be popular. I do this, take this picture. I'm like, it's not. Yesterday we had a show yesterday. I was telling Sister Satana this. We had a show yesterday and there was some technical difficulties with the show. I found out what the technical difficulties were, brothers and sisters. I played a little bit of Richard Pryor on a great thing. And you know what happened? YouTube messed up the broadcast because that little clip I showed you was copyrighted. Okay, I get it. But do you mess with the whole broadcast? It was copyrighted. They want to let you know, don't mess with it. I'm like, Richard Pryor's genius is not your copyright. If Richard Pryor did that, he would have cussed out everybody associated with YouTube. Let me move forward. So I'm going to play a scene, brothers and sisters. This scene is, I want to say, from one of the greatest playwrights ever to come out. August Wilson. He did Fences. And this is Denzel Washington's direct. It wasn't a directorial debut, but he directed Fences. And this scene I'm about to show you caused a lot of conversation, particularly in the African American community. But a lot of weird feelings because this was a mainstream film. So people came to see Fences, not understanding aspects of one, African American existence, how Black men raise their children, and number two, they came to the conclusion, a very sticky conclusion and a foul conclusion in some regards, because they didn't realize this was a period piece. This was 2018, 2017. This was, that they're looking at it and they're not understanding that the play happened in the 1950s in Pittsburgh, of all places. But, and I think, and Sultana, she was there. Sultana, we were there. We were at a conference for Black Psychology conference, Black Muslim Psychology conference. And the number one session that was attended was this session, and the title of it was about black male toxicity. Black male toxicity. And I looked around and I said, you have got to be absolutely kidding me. Talking about black male toxicity. I'm like, it's a period piece. My father's father talked to him that way. My father's father talked to me that way. We're going to get back. I'm going to show this scene. And we're going to have a little bit of a discussion. I hope you guys don't mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, just check it out. Before you say anything, just check it out. This is 1950s Pittsburgh, which was highly segregated. The character that Denzel Washington plays, and I want everybody to understand this, the character of Troy played for the Negro League Baseball League. The Negro League Baseball League. So on top of what he's talking to about his son is the fact that he played in a league that was established because they were not able to play baseball due to segregation and suffered the indignities of racism beyond the fact that they had, in many regards, superior athletic talent. Sorry about this, brother. I don't know why I did that. I was going through the comments. I'm being totally honest with you. I was going through the comments.
Can I ask you a question? The hell you got to ask me, Mr. Stawicki, the one you got the questions for. How come you ain't never liked me? Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you? Want to stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, goddammit. I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you? None. All right, then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day? Yeah. Nigga, as long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me. Yes, sir. You eat every day. Yes, sir. Got a roof over your head. Yes, sir. Got clothes on your back. Yes, sir. Why you think that is? Because of you? Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is? Because you like me. Like you. I go out here every morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. Because I like you, because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Now let's get this straight right here and now before I go along any further. I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand don't give me my money come payday because he like me. He give it to me because he owe me. Now I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain. Now don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, then get the hell out of my face and get on down to that A&P.
Amazing scene. Amazing scene. I've seen this. I saw the first one, James Earl Jones and Courtney B. Vance, and of course the one with Denzel and the young actors whose name escapes me. But did you catch the nuances of that? The nuances of it is the boy had to get down to the A&P to get his job back. He quit his job going to play football. And on top of that, the one thing that a lot of folks don't understand was that the boy had lied to Denzel Washington. He broke a trust between a father and son, a son who's going to grow up to be a man. He broke a trust that frames an example in many regards. But the thing that I don't want to miss is he gave you history. Denzel Washington gave you a very succinct history in his character of Troy, because he talked about what he had to do despite everything going on, what his focus was, what his tension was, where his energy was, which was on his family. He says, I ain't got to like you. That, a lot of people get into this thing about, like, I'm going to tell y'all something. You know, I ain't going to sit over here like my dad liked me. He likes me now because I made something of myself. Love is unconditional. See, people mistake like for respect. People mistake like for respect. We're actually having a talk about is COVID-19 the end of old school, because people have substituted respect for like. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, when I'm calling on you to respect me, right? It means you got to look at a body of work. If you want me to respect you, I got to look at your body of work. And I have to make an honest assessment about, is this person really measuring up to the quality of expectations of character, of integrity, of effort, of service that's going to make me, brothers and sisters, at some point in time, vouch for that person. COVID-19 has been weird. It's been weird. In some regards, I would even want to say that COVID-19 has been a game changer for a whole lot of people. You know, a lot of folks don't like to say it, but you know what? Donald Trump, and I'll say it, but Donald Trump was who he was, brothers and sisters. He's always been who he was. Before he was president, he was who he was. He alienated people all the way up to the presidency. But what he was not going to do was he was not going to change. He told you he wasn't going to change. Everything he did, people, you know, the news media and folks just got exhausted. Like, oh my God, he's doing that, he's doing that. Because he told you these are the parameters of when you make wrong choices. You don't respect the man, but you elected him. I like what he's saying, but do you respect him? In the absence of character, brothers and sisters, and let me add this one in. The absence of character, when you talk about old school, is about what you believe. What you believe socially, what you believe financially, what you believe spiritually and religiously. You had a president, I don't think he went to church 3 times the whole time he's president. How many times did he go golfing? And I don't fault the man. I don't fault him. You know what? Because to fault a man in some regards is to almost exalts him of saying, you know what? He's not responsible. He is responsible, but so are we. Just the way JT's dad said, you ain't gonna grow up to be no punk. Why is that important? You know why he said you're gonna grow up to be a punk? Because you didn't want to get punked. You ain't gonna let another man punk you. This man punked all of America. The America he could punk, and the America he couldn't punk, he just ignored. Old school is about communication. Old school is about accessing thought. Old school is about having the courage to ask people what they think, not necessarily telling them how to think. And as I watched this thing with Denzel Washington at this Black Muslim psychology thing, and I heard all these people start talking about, oh, I can't believe he said that. I'm like, I love my people. I love my black people. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. Somebody throw a term out there that sounds catchy, we will run with it till the cows come home. Muslims are the same. We the same. Somebody came up with the term Islamophobia. We've been running that into the ground. Just like institutional racism. We're just running into the ground, not understanding that if you keep talking about something without there being action to correct it, you look like, say it with me, JT, a punk. All you're going to do is talk. That's it. You don't have the wherewithal to say, you know what? Let's go and take this outside. Let's stop talking. What you going to do? We can get at it right now. I know all of the superlatives about, you know what? We're going to see how much of a man you are. And I ain't advocating violence, but I am advocating you ain't going to treat me like no punk. Now, many a good man has lost a fight or got curb stomped into the ground just because he wasn't no punk. And what am I saying? Am I saying get beat up? No, you probably would have got beat up anyway. But the thing I am expressing is that at least you stood up for yourself. And in that scene with Denzel Washington and his son, that so many people say was, oh, it's black masculine toxicity. No, he told his son, you gotta stand up for yourself. I'm not going to be around. This is a dissertation on black masculine success. Success. Yes, all of us want our parents to love us. All of us want our parents to coddle us when we fall down and hug us. But sometimes, brothers, just understand it didn't happen for them. And that they can give you what they give you is nothing short of a miracle. Yes, Sultana, Donald Trump had the Bible upside down. You know why? Because to him, it didn't mean nothing. You might as well put a drink on it and made it a coaster, a holy roller and a holy coaster. But him holding the Bible upside down and taking a picture of it is an indictment of society. It's an indictment of society. None of the people around him said, hey, I believe in that book. Hey, I was raised on that book. Hey, that's from my Lord. Hey, that's a sacred text. That's a sacred text. Hey, and nobody said nothing. So in some regards, this disaffection that we're seeing now, the man can't leave office. He won't leave office. He's put up this facade that there's a voter fraud. You know what? Don't be surprised. He got this far punking a majority of America. And I'm going to say it right now. He punked white America. He punked the conservatives. He punked the racists. He punked the liberals. He punked the politicians. He punked everybody he could punk except those who refuse to be. Trying to close, brothers and sisters. There's something that should be said. that when it comes to the conscience of America, the true conscience of America, it is African American existence. It is the strongest antidote for everything that's going on now. We remain a community, brothers and sisters, that refuses to be punked. Have we? At times, yes. But you're talking about a whole philosophical thought of Black existence and survival? The answer is no. And we will never get punked. Because the manhood is a long-standing manhood, and it's a different type of manhood. The sisterhood is a long-standing sisterhood. It's a different type of sisterhood. It is a pressure that turns a cold brick into a diamond that can't be valued, a diamond that gives advice from a father to a son that says, son, this is survival. This is reality. I can't tell you where I came from because those times are no longer there, and I would not want to take you back there. I'm a survivor. Listen to me. This is how we survive. People don't understand us, folks. Muslim community, African American Muslim community, they don't really understand us, but we haven't done enough of an effective job of saying this is who we are to ourselves, to our own community. We buy in this foolishness of quote unquote toxicity. That's a man talking to his son. Shut up. Or that's a mother talking to her daughter. Shut up. And let's get out of this thing that we're so, oh my gosh, politically correct. If you're Black, there is no political correctness. You are correctness. That's it. For good or bad, you are the barometer. In the United States, you can tell how bad the United States is doing because they look at who? They don't look at Black people. Gosh darn it, they look at Black women. And if Black women are struggling, that tells you how the rest of the world is teetering on struggling. So I'm going to get out of here because it's my time, you know. And before I go, I want to thank everybody for coming on the show today because it is a little bit different. And guess what? If you did not like the show, ain't nobody said you had to like the show. Dig that. Preacher Mars Shout Out Show. See you guys on Throwback Thursday.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next